welcome to House of Decline, the show about our mental states progressively getting worse and worse and worse until we end it in a group suicide pact. We will drink the Bebo. We will drink the poison Bebo. Remember Bebo?
And the piano, it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a dick.
Sucking a dick, the piano man, eating up all of the cum.
And they sit at the bar and put bread in my ass and say, man, what are you doing here?
Ducks eating bread out the piano ass. Getting the ducks to lick at my ass. Ducks licking asses all over the place. Up in Long Island town. I don't know. Fucking Billy Joel.
Billy
He's
Joel.
the Billy Jewel.
He's
the Billy Jewel of Long Island.
He's the jewel of New York.
Yeah, everybody loves him. There is something there is some sort of like hokey sentimentality that is apparent in New York. That's what's funny about New York, is they're tough guys, but they're also hokey and sentimental. Mm-hmm. And that's the quality of the New Yorker. That's why, I would even like call Scorsese's meditations on the beauty of New York and its colorfulness smacking of a type of sentimentality, which you need to be tough guy sentimentality, you know?
Yeah, they're
it's
very
like when
sentimental.
A mobster sings Nessun Dorma or something like that.
You think it's the Italianness that is where the sentimentality comes from?
I think it's the Italianness of New York. It's the Jewishness of New York.
Are Jews more sentimental than Italians? I think Italians are more sentimental.
Jews are pretty sentimental. Jews are very sentimental, I would say.
I guess because Italians are always like, remember the Roman times, and Jews are always like, remember the Roman times.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're always
reasons.
hearkening back. We're all doing return. RETVRN. We're all returniacs.
William Martin Joel, you come practice piano.
I was a piano boy, but then I became the piano man.
This is the story of how a piano boy became a piano man.
Yeah. I would love... Has there been, like, a Billy Joel biopic? Like, a very canonical Billy Joel biopic?
I don't know. I know
like
that...
Rocket Man, but for Billy Joel?
Is it Andrew Garfield in a movie about the guy who just died?
Which guy? What guy who just died?
One of the big musical theater guys.
Oh, Stephen Sondheim? He plays Stephen Sondheim?
I think so.
Very funny. Andrew Garfield seems a bit too lanky to play Stephen Sondheim. They should have gotten Josh Gad. Woo!
Let me see. I don't know if it's about Sondheim or if it's a different musical theater guy.
Was it about Leonard Bernstein? He's got the body for Bernstein. I tell you that much. The flowing way. Yeah, he's got Bernstein energy, but Sondheim should be played by like a short, dumpy guy like me. Get me to play Sondheim. I'd be a great Sondheim.
Yeah, you should do it.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it?
He's the history of short, dumpy, bearded Jewish gay men. It's him and Maurice Sendak and lots of guys like that. Sondheim was gay, right? I'm not making that up.
I don't know. No, I'm sorry. So Andrew Garfield he's not playing Sondheim. He's playing, let's see, Jonathan Larson?
Jonathan Larson. I recognize that name. Is that Normal Heart? That's not Normal Heart.
The Rent. He made Rent.
Oh, he made Rent. But he wasn't gay, which was funny.
He was gay.
Oh, he was gay?
Was he?
I don't think he was gay.
Isn't everyone's gay now? Everyone's a little bit gay now.
Everyone was gay back then. And I think he was a straight guy. But Rent isn't, its focus is on a heterosexual couple.
Yeah, it's about paying rent. It's very boring. It's mostly typing on a typewriter.
Well, it's a It's very Gen X, you know, very reality bites, very like we're still benefiting off the largesse of our end of history moment.
Oh, okay. I know why I thought it was Sondheim. The guy Larson is like highly influenced by Sondheim and wrote a song in homage to Sondheim, who supported him, and he wrote letters of recommendations for him. He won the Stephen Sondheim Award. So,
have you ever seen Rent?
I think is that the one with all the drag queens?
No,
And they have to pay,
there's not a lot of drag queens in Rent.
For the boy pussy, is that what it is?
No.
Oh.
There's very little use of the term boy pussy in Rent, actually. It's sad.
I guess I'm thinking of the wrong one.
Well, they have to pay rent. They're also all living with HIV. And it is loosely based on La Boheme. I've never seen it. Doesn't seem like my sort of thing, you know?
Huh. You're not into the HIV stuff.
Well,
you don't care for it.
I didn't watch Philadelphia. Didn't care for it. Didn't watch Dallas Buyers Club. Right out. None of these movies. None of. I can take none of it.
Speaking of movies, I started and couldn't finish at all. I got like 20 minutes into Cold Mountain.
Cold Mountain,
which is a 2003 epic Civil War movie.
Yeah, Jack White is in it, which is very funny.
Is he? I didn't.
Jack White has a small role in Cold Mountain.
Oh man, that's funny. I didn't even get that far.
Very 2003 thing.
It sucks.
It was very popular. It was a very popular piece of like fictional, like Oprah book club style literature, where everyone was reading it in the same vein where like Brokeback Mountain would become 2 years later. But Brokeback Mountain is of presumably higher quality.
I think it's one of the last movies of that kind, like the sweeping,
like Gone with the Wind, David O. Selznick Civil War epic.
The sweeping historical epic. I think that the one people talk about that failed or flopped was Heaven's Gate. Mm-hmm. But this movie, Cold Mountain, is directed by the same guy who did The English Patient.
Minghella.
So it's like, I don't know. English Patient's another movie I would probably like watch 20 minutes of and then just like turn it off in disgust.
Yeah, that's also been relegated to the dustbin of history, where it was very popular at the time and represented sort of a cultural shibboleth for like the NPR listening crowd. Mm-hmm. You got to watch they even made the Seinfeld episode about it, where all of Elaine's society friends love The English Patient, and she thinks it's very boring.
Right.
And I think people have come to the conclusion about those movies. I don't know. I haven't seen either of them. I might watch it and find that it's incredibly my shit. It's incredibly my jam.
I don't think you'll find Cold Mountain to be your shit at all.
I haven't watched any Merchant Ivory movies, but those are presumably of presumably better quality than Cold Mountain, which there's a weird, like, the quality of something like Cold Mountain or English Patient is there's this affectation of erudition. You know, it's supposed to be, like, fancy, and they're using all of these shorthand things for, this is supposed to be a work of serious import. But it comes across as sort of the McDonald's version of serious import. There's this falseness because there is no real character behind the words. It's just sort of functions as a straight up retelling and not like a personal vision. Like, what are the qualities that, like, of Anthony Minghella's idiosyncrasies that he brings to those movies?
I think they're probably pretty esoteric idiosyncrasies. Like, you'd have to be watching a lot of that kind of stuff to notice. Mm-hmm. It's very bland.
You know, like, at least with Christopher Nolan, with something like with Dunkirk, at least you can tell it's a Christopher Nolan movie. Like, you can criticize Christopher Nolan all you want because his movies are bland, and, like, in terms of Batman, if you think too hard about them, they're, like, the plots make no sense, and they're But I guess sort of like that sort of blandness and faux sense of import people also have against Christopher Nolan. But in his case, I can tell it's a Christopher Nolan movie. At least there is some distinctn's about it. There is idiosyncratic qualities of Nolan movies that make me feel like I'm getting insight into the dreams of a weirdo, which is sort of what I like in movies. You know, auteur theory, I guess, is flawed, but I sort of like movies that are more representative of personal visions.
Those are the best movies. I mean, the ones everyone knows who these directors are that, you know, you definitely are going to watch their next movie, like Tarantino or the Coen brothers or P.T. Anderson. And
because it's fun to be in those worlds. Yeah. You enter into a different world when you're in those movies. I guess like what's there, you don't enter into any world when you're watching something like Cold Mountain.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe like if I was still in my history buff time, which I am not in right now, but I'll probably return to, then I might like Cold Mountain. But it's interesting that I didn't like it because, you know, I liked the Civil War in terms of history. Mm-hmm. But this movie sucked. I don't know. It's like very anachronistic for how the movies were being, or, you know, modern movies post to the year 2000. It's like a throwback to, it's like a movie that you might, I don't think it would have been any different if he made this movie in 1989 versus 2003. So.
Have you seen The Last Duel?
No, with Matt Damon.
Yeah, The Last Duel it's not even a historical epic. The story is very contained, apparently, but it was also tanking, and people blamed millennials who are...
Oh, what?
they don't want to see it, any of these history movies.
You can't blaming millennials is just like blaming everyone. Like that, you're just blaming yourself, because millennials are the majority, so...
Those experiential... It's funny that Dunkirk in 1917 came out around within the same, like, 3-year period. Because I think people, especially since Saving Private Ryan really codified it, people like experiential war movies. Movies where it feels like you're in the shit. Especially, you know, they're good dad movies.
Cold Mountain tries that. Like, they tried to do a Saving Private Ryan style kind of opening, actually, and they actually do that. That's mentioned in the reviews, where a bunch of Union soldiers are. It starts off with basically a bunch of Union soldiers being massacred by Confederate soldiers. So that's kind of annoying. It's like, why put that in a movie? It's like, here's a movie where the Nazis are gonna kill a bunch of good guys. So
it underscores the seriousness of it. You know, there's stakes. There's real stakes. What's the plot of Cold Mountain? Some army guy just has to get back to Cold Mountain?
Yeah, I think,
Kidman?
I didn't get far enough to get to the plot, but I think Renee Zellweger comes in, and Renee Zellweger and Nicole Kidman have to get back to Cold Mountain, and Cold Mountain is just like a place in North Carolina. And that's as far... I didn't even get that far. I just turned it off, so...
Yeah. Good decision.
I've been watching the second season of Tiger King, which is surprisingly great.
Great in what sense?
In that there's more to the story. Like, I thought it would just be like a kind of a cash grab, but there's actually a lot more shit that's going on.
Yeah.
It's good. I recommend Tiger King season 2.
I tried watching Tiger King when everyone was very gung-ho about it, but there was something... and not that I'm saying, like, you're bad for watching Tiger King, but its particular brand of exploitation of these young, like, insane meth twinks was, I don't know.
Oh, well, that's not the show. That's the guy.
Yeah,
the show's not.
But sometimes it feels like the show is doing it, at least in the first season.
No, the show's not doing that. That's just the guy that's doing it. I mean, the show is gleeful about it. But it turns out that those young twinks are also assholes. So
okay, so it's fine.
Everyone is a huge asshole in the show, and everyone is insane, and everyone has internet brain, and it's just really interesting to watch. We're also watching Succession season.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Succession.
No spoilers.
I'm on season 2.
No spoilers.
I'm not. I haven't watched any of season 3 yet.
Oh,
but it's good. Is it good, or is it just like well made? I guess it's good because it is well made. It's like objectively well put together. Like the performances are great. All of the characters are very well drawn. It looks beautiful. The music is fantastic. Like I can't remember the last television theme song that I could instantly hum, which counts a lot for me. And because that theme song figures a lot into the score of the show.
I think it's very It's Mad Men-esque.
Yeah, but it's more overtly a comedy than Mad Men, I feel. Yes,
it is. But the theme song itself is just like a very Mad Men theme song, and you know they're all business people drinking and being profane and showing the seamy side.
Yeah, and it's supposed to denigrate them, but it just ends up glamorizing it because how could it not?
Well, yeah, and Kieran Culkin I think it's Kieran, right?
Yeah, Kieran Culkin.
He's great.
Roman. Everybody loves Roman. Yeah, Roman's the best guy.
He steals the show every time.
Yeah, he's just got a weird little elf energy.
Yeah, he's gonna go far, I think.
Yeah, he's already a cultural stalwart. Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, he should be getting the roles that Timothée Chalamet is getting.
They don't have the same energy. He's not like cheekbone androgyne, dude, which is a thing that most people want.
Kieran Culkin should have been in Dune instead of Timothée Chalamet.
Kieran Culkin as he would bring a different energy to Paul.
Yeah,
Paul with like wiry, jittery energy.
Roman as Paul Atreides.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you suck my fucking cock? Yeah, that'd be good.
Talking about fucking Fremen bitches constantly. Saying he has a way with them. Oh my god. Yeah, Succession is good because it's fun to be friends with bad people. You know?
Yeah, well...
Are you ever friends with somebody that you just know is a terrible person, but they're very funny, so you're friends with them anyway?
I'm trying to think if that's... I don't know. I can't think of anyone.
No, I guess I tend to try and not hang around people who I've deemed to be terrible.
Yeah. I don't hang around anybody, so...
hang around the baby.
I have been inside for a week. I went outside for the first time today to get groceries, and now I'm going to be inside for another week.
You know? You're on Twitter more than usual.
No, same amount.
Baby. Yeah, you're right.
But, you know, we had American Thanksgiving this week, and of course we did that over Zoom.
Yeah.
Still not doing any kind of... Well, we can't go anywhere because of the baby, but now we've got the Omicron variant.
Apparently it's nothing. It's just like a bunch of nothing. It's not that lethal or anything.
They don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I think it's... I mean, what I think and what makes sense is that viruses, like, evolve to become more easily spreadable and less intense. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of how they evolve.
More easily spreadable.
It'll spread easy, but it won't be as bad. So I kind of expect it to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
Yeah. What if we're just in perpetual viral time? That would be great.
I don't think it's going to last that long, but it might last... I don't know. It should. I think we should start to really stop doing stuff about the coronavirus by March of next year.
All the relevant people will have died by then.
That's when I'm going to probably hit my limit. Because I remember at the beginning I was like, okay, 2 years of staying inside. I can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And once I hit 2 years of staying inside, I'm going to probably, have a nervous breakdown and buy a Mazda Miata and get a tattoo and a dick enlargement surgery.
Get the dick finally getting the dick enlargement.
Finally
surgery.
doing it. I'm finally doing it. Yeah.
Yep. I squirreled away my dollars for many years, and I'm finally putting a big sack of saline in my penis.
Yeah, I'm injecting myself with glycerol to make it bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't afford the good glycerol, really, but so we're going with the off-brand synthol. That's known as Tumorsol. Inject some Tumorsol into your penis and make it look like a gooey duck. You ever seen a gooey duck?
No.
Spelled geoduck, but
Wow.
that's insane. Mm-hmm. They're the bivalves with big old penises. They're not penises, that's their body, but they look like dicks.
Do you know who Wakefield Poole is?
No, that sounds like a made-up name.
There's a New York Times obituary. Wakefield Poole, pioneer in gay pornography, dies at 85.
That's amazing. What? Read more. Read more right now. I'm
My
very
dad
interested
is going to
in
cancel
Wakefield
his
Poole.
New York Times subscription for the 4th time this month now.
Because of Wakefield Poole?
Because of the word pornography.
He's got to send him a message.
Okay, so
know?
this is how the obituary starts describing Wakefield Poole as going to like a porn movie theater in the early 70s and saying to his friend, "This is the worst, ugliest movie I've ever seen. Somebody ought to be able to make a better porno." And so then,
that's kind of nice.
and then so he set out to make better gay porn.
I love Wakefield Poole. What are his credits? You know, would I know any of his gay porn?
Boys in the Sand.
Boys in the Sand. Perfect.
The title is a spoof on The Boys in the Band, the groundbreaking 1968 play about gay men in New
is
York.
Boys in the Sand? It's somehow less homoerotic than Jarhead, which is also about boys in the sand.
That's funny. I never saw Jarhead. Is that a good one?
Sure, it's about how it's sort of like that spate of realistic military things, pseudo-realistic military things like Generation Kill, David Simon's Generation Kill. Like there was all sorts of those shows out, and Jarhead is of that like gritty, realistic Iraq sort of. The Hurt Locker is also kind of in that genre as well, but Jarhead is more explicitly about how fucked up military life is.
We passed by the Last Duel? I think a little too quickly. I had a question about that.
The Last Duel, yeah.
Is that Ridley Scott?
It's Ridley Scott.
Did you see it?
No, I've heard good things. Everyone's saying that, this movie, it's pretty good.
Is it streaming? You know, is it streaming somewhere?
I don't think it's streaming.
God damn,
I don't
these
think it's
fucking
streaming
movie
yet.
theaters. I hope movie theaters go out of business.
Why don't you like...
Well, I'm pissed because the one right by my house did go out of business, and so like I can't go see movies. I have to drive 20 minutes now instead of 5 minutes, and it's so that's annoying. That's why I want them to all go out of business.
There you go. If you can't have it, nobody should have it.
That's right.
I think that's a classic attitude. I'm gonna have more of that attitude. If I can't have it, nobody can have it. I think that will end up being productive. What can't I have? The right to say the N-word. No, nobody should have that.
No, except for Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle's
my
the
God.
only guy who can say it, and he called an entire high school the N-word just the other day.
Maybe. I don't know this story. I don't know if it's accurately reported or not, but this whole Dave Chappelle discourse is continuing. Why? Why does this need to keep happening?
He told a bunch of high schoolers, like, you guys ain't shit compared to me.
That's so funny.
He basically said,
God.
I'm Dave Chappelle, bitch. Like, seriously, like, I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. People are even. I don't know the veracity of the story, or like what the details are on it. I would have had to have been there, but the idea of just someone who's famous and has all these laurels and is beloved within their own community, just constantly trying to seek approval of this audience that just isn't responsive to him is very like. What do you care?
Yeah.
Stop doing this. Just get an island or something.
Well, he's got a house in Ohio.
Loves Ohio.
And he can go, I think he describes in his special how he's got a foot fetish. He basically admits he's basically got a foot fetish. And he likes Ohio because he's like, all the white women here are barefoot. So he's
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny. He's like, I think in a previous special too, he was like, it ain't rape if it's with feet.
Yeah, he's a foot guy.
Which is what a great, tasteful joke, Dave Chappelle.
You see, it's so easy to be a foot guy. You can bring a lot of jokes from it because it's like it's common enough that people are like, oh, that's normal.
Yeah,
You know, it's not like he's a balloon guy. Imagine being a balloon guy, or like a latex guy.
a balloon.
You couldn't make latex jokes.
What's the balloon thing?
Some people are just aroused at balloons, or being inflated like a balloon.
Being
or,
inflated. There we go. That's what.
Yeah.
Yes, I want you to.
I like it.
Me.
Yeah, I like the idea of being inflated and then forming a perfect sphere and then, releasing the gas out of me and flying around the room.
You'll have to, once I'm inflated all the way, you'll have to sand my stubby arms down to make me a perfect circle.
Yeah, exactly. Get you to the stubby arm center. There's all sorts of that fucking blueberry shit. You ever seen that blueberry shit?
You mean in Willy Wonka?
Yeah, people saw Willy Wonka when they were kids and got fetishes out of it because they saw Violet Beauregard blow up like a blueberry and were like, oh, ooh, oh my God. I kind of want that to happen to me.
Oh, speaking of Timothée Chalamet,
Wonka, yeah, he's gonna have. And yet another generation of people are gonna get blueberry pilled.
Gritty dark Wonka.
Is it gonna be a gritty dark Wonka?
Yeah, hell yeah, it's gonna be like gritty dark Wonka, and he's gonna enslave 6 million Oompa Loompas.
It's funny because in the trailer to Ready Player One, there was already a slowed down dark version of Pure Imagination.
Oh,
Come
very funny.
With me, and you see, and yeah, one of those.
He's gonna play Wonka as a very insane German guy, like 1933 German guy, like, welcome Oompa Loompas to my laboratory.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a scene where he does a live vivisection of an Oompa Loompa. It's where you cut someone up and expose their innards while they're still alive.
And what we are seeing here is they actually have 3 kidneys, but they are not like kidneys. Rather, they are different types of organs that I have called the Strumpf.
They have the extra kidney to process all the sugar.
Yeah, exactly. They're paid in candy.
They're diabetic. They're all dying of diabetes and having to amputate their feet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
just the chocolate river is littered with Oompa Loompa feet.
Living in an Oompa Loompa concentration camp.
Yeah, that's no good. Well, that's what the Oompa Loompas get for siding with Tojo.
Yeah, the reason they're enslaved, it turns out that they were the ones who were administrating like the furnaces at Auschwitz.
Well, it's not funny. George Takei was in an Oompa Loompa camp when he was a kid. So.
A camp? You mean a camp run by Oompa Loompas?
No, he was. Yes.
Because before Wonka got the Oompa Loompas, they were the ones doing all the camps, running all the camps.
Yeah, they were the ones running all the. They were good labor. They don't question it. They're paid in candy, and Germany is the land of chocolate, right?
Yeah, that's a Simpsons line, I think.
Oompa Loompa Loompa doo, off to the gas chamber for you. Oof. No,
wow,
no, wrong.
I bet a lot of 13-year-olds would like this part of the podcast.
Yeah, a lot of 13-year-olds who love the Willy. What if Willy Wonka was Auschwitz?
Yeah, so during our Willy Wonka
what
Nazi
if it was
bit,
Willy Wonka's munitions factory?
This is a good time for you to go visit House of Decline.
What if it was Wonka's List?
Like Schindler's List?
He's dressing up a bunch of Jews as Oompa Loompas to work at his factory.
To get them out of Germany?
No Jews here. No Jews here. Just
we
Oompa
make
Loompas.
candy. We make ice cream that does not melt.
How whimsical, yeah.
Yeah.
You have a brutal Amon Goth played by Rafe Fiennes. Rafe Fiennes. Do you also call him Rape Fiennes? I call him Rape.
No.
Rape Fiennes in my head. That's what I always call him. You want to see this? Rape Fiennes? His name is Ralph, but it's pronounced Rafe.
Right.
Rafe Al Ghul. I was running the Wraith in Halo. Got knocked off on the Wraith.
Are you playing the new Halo?
No, I don't. I have no nostalgia for Halo because I never owned an Xbox, and anytime I played it, people were much better at it than me. So I was like, I don't like this game.
The fun thing that's happening with Halo is that all the Zoomers are trying to play it, and they're getting their asses beat for the first time.
Why? Is it a particularly difficult game? Or
no, well, it's much different than the shooters they're used to. So the shooters they're used to you never have the. Well, hold on, let me not misspeak. But the shooters they're used to are all like the, Fortnite, Warzone.
Oh, the third-person shooters.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's that Halo. Halo is first person though.
Yeah, Halo's first person, but they're used to playing third-person shooters.
Warzone
is Fortnite first?
I don't know about
Fortnite,
but Warzone is first person. But it's just like, I think it's slower. I think you move slower in Halo. And they're also playing against people who know Halo backwards and forwards.
They got the muscle memory.
Yeah.
They got the Halo muscle memory. Well, the reason why we're talking about Billy Joel at the beginning of the episode is because we're talking about Movin' Out.
This is the reverse inside out segue where we do the segue at the top of the show, and then 30 minutes in,
we're blowing your mind.
It's the reverse backwards on top. Reverse cowgirl segue.
Yeah, this is like the Pulp Fiction of segues. There's all sorts of time dilations.
Well,
but you were thinking about moving.
I was thinking about moving because we were moving stuff around the house. We moved my daughter into her own bedroom for the first time. She's 4 months old, so now she's got her own bedroom. She's taken to it by not napping as well over this break, but this coming week, I'll whip her back into napping shape. She'll be napping, and incredible naps like you've never seen before. So I started thinking about all the different times I've moved. I moved a lot as a kid.
Because you were an army brat, and your dad worked for the State Department.
No. Just probably not as much as an army brat, but my dad him and me moved to North Carolina when I was going into 9th grade, so I went into 9th grade in a new public school for the first time with girls. That was interesting.
That was interesting.
But,
were you expected when moving to help out with the moving, or was it just movers doing
yeah,
I
had to help. I had to carry boxes, pack boxes. It was a lot of work. So we moved there, and then 11 months go by, and we moved back. So that's two.
Why, he didn't like it?
No, he didn't like it there. I thought it was okay. I would have probably done really well at the public school and gone to a different college, had a whole different life, I think I probably would have been a lot more happy if we had
opposed to the Catholic all boys school, the anti-Semitic Catholic all boys.
Yeah,
school.
especially for high school, because getting interested in girls, I probably would have gotten a girlfriend maybe a little earlier and dealt with some of my weird issues, and probably had a easier time in dating in college and not been drinking all the time. But hey, can't let the past be bygones and whatnot. So,
hey, you can't focus on that. Maybe that version of Steven dies in a horrible motorcycle accident because he has the confidence to become a motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
And that is his folly.
I end up in someone's living room off the Brooklyn Expressway or whatever, like Billy Joel. Except I'm dead. Except in
you
this
die
story.
of a heart attack.
Yeah.
That's how in Long Island, he's when they're phoning 911. He's my uncle. He's having a heart attack.
You mean Brooklyn 911? Is that what you said?
Brooklyn 911.
Is that what that's in?
No. Wait, what? No, it's not Brooklyn 99. What's Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I don't know. I thought you said what you were referring to was from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I didn't hear.
No, it's from Billy Joel. I'm just picturing a guy from Huntington.
Okay.
Calling the 911 line, complaining that his uncle is having a heart attack.
Yeah, that would be a good.
They can't say it normal because they're on Long Island.
You should be a comedy writer.
I should be a comedy guy. They would love me there in the comedy rooms. I could write for a Michael Schur show.
Yeah, you should. There should be a new Michael Schur show based on, what should the idea be? What's the pitch for the new
Well,
Michael
it's a workplace sitcom.
Okay.
We've done police. We've done government. Mm-hmm. We've done retail. So the last place is NGO. It's going to be it's going to be called Charity Cases. And... And it's going to be about people who are working at this NGO and they are unfulfilled because it's mostly just glad handing. And the first season is going to be about them failing, but then the second season is going to be about them succeeding. And everyone will like the second season a lot more.
So I was thinking about moving, and moving a long time ago in 2003 or 4. Mm-hmm. We drove from Texas to North Carolina, and so we stayed in a lot of funny places, like a lot of interesting hotels.
Remember anyone in particular?
There was one hotel that was like the liminal space Twitter bot that posts pictures of quote-unquote liminal spaces.
Yes.
There's one hotel that was very much like a liminal space, because for some reason we were, I think, maybe the only people in this hotel that we booked. Yeah. And it's a huge
That's very spooky.
hotel, it hosted conventions in the past. So there's grand ballrooms, a huge swimming pool, and no one is in it, and no one is there looking after it. We're just staying in one room, and it's like a huge complex that we're in.
Yeah.
It's like
you're riding your big wheel throughout the hallways.
Well, I got out and
some massacred twins.
I went out of my room after my dad went to bed and just took a swim in the swimming pool, and no one was there, and it was very spooky and surreal and maybe a little liminal, kind of like I was stepping between the boundaries of two worlds.
Yeah, you clipped out of bounds, and now you're just in the dev version of what the world is.
And we also stayed in Tennessee at some point, and that was scary because there were some real Southern people there, really scary Southern people.
I don't know. I've only been, whenever I've been to the South, I've been in urban centers. So it's always very howdy, we're nice, clean, urban, PC Southern people.
I mean, at the time, I didn't know what was going on. I was just having panic attacks due to PTSD at the time, and still have those, but they were setting off fireworks, and it made me cold, scared on the inside. I was shitting myself, metaphorically.
Because you were afraid they were going to start sending rockets into your house?
I don't know what.
Attacking with little rockets?
I thought they were gonna come beat us up or something for being from Texas, which is this doesn't make sense.
Is that a thing? Is there a lot of animosity between Tennesseans?
Yeah, a bunch of Tennesseans. Hey, there's 2 white guys from Texas. We're gonna go get them.
Let's get them.
We don't take kindly to your kind here, fellow white guy with a southern state that also starts with TE. We don't take too kindly. It's of course
they're weird Mexican nationalist Tennesseans who's you took the rightful land of Santa Ana and you will give it back.
That I didn't know at the time. I was having just panic attacks and stress due to other things, but I was terrified. I wish I could have relaxed, had a good time.
In Tennessee?
At any point between the ages of 13 to 29.
Yeah, it's hard to relax. It's hard to genuinely feel relaxed. I don't think I even when you are relaxing, there's that little nubbin of doubt at the back of your head, constantly going, you're wasting your time.
That's why you
could be doing something else.
You kill that nubbin with a heavy dose of tetrahydrocannabinol. Tetrahydrocannabinol.
Cannabina.
Tetrahydrocorba weed. Just do weed.
Cannabinoids. Cannabinoids. Cannabinoids.
But I was wondering if you hadn't. You moved. Technically, you moved from Canada to the United States and back. So
but I moved to college I didn't have any possessions.
You had a trumpet. You had the trumpet on your back.
I had a trumpet on my back. I was a troubadour. I was hitchhiking my way across upstate New York, giving trumpet renditions of Mariah Carey songs for blowjobs, and that's how I would make my
So
skin.
you'd pay someone for a blow.
I would play the trumpet version of the Mariah Carey tune,
and
then they would suck my dick because of how good it was.
Okay. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, these are, and I made my way from Albany to Syracuse that's my only memories of sort of travel between where I was, is just taking that long train ride between Albany and Toronto, where you'd pass through all the weird bombed out upstate New York cities that are just like that nobody lives in anymore. And so also have a liminal quality where it is emptier than it should be. Like, you ever been to downtown Buffalo?
Never been to Buffalo. Actually, well,
Buffalo's great.
I've been through it, but never stopped in Buffalo.
Buffalo is low-key a great city. It also has some of the most beautiful architecture ever in America. They kept all their old Art Deco buildings. And they're a sight to behold. But it is a city that is meant for more people than its largeness would suggest.
These kinds of cities will, I think, be rediscovered shortly.
Yeah, because they're cheap. They're also urban centers. There's no reason why it can't have like a vibrant cultural scene.
Well, we're gonna get to that. After Omicron, we're gonna have whatever comes LMNO. We're gonna have pi. We're gonna have the pi variant. Mm-hmm. Then what comes after pi in the Greek alphabet?
All the Greek alphabets. Rho.
Yeah, we're gonna have
the
bunch.
Rho variant.
And at some point, it's everyone who can work from home will be working from home, and global warming won't matter anymore because we'll be an indoor people. We'll be an inside type of guy.
Do you think when Greek fascists execute people, they go "Opa"? No.
I don't know.
No.
Are there?
Think when the Golden Dawn?
There are Greek fascists. It's called.
Oh, there's tons of Greek fascists.
You said Golden Dawn, right?
Golden Dawn, yeah.
That's funny. I guess.
Yeah, it's funny that it's the Aleister Crowley. It's also the Aleister Crowley and Yeats thing. It'd be funny to be like a 20th century, like an early 20th century, late 19th century spiritualist, like a Madame Blavatsky type, and attend a bunch of seances. Maybe I should start hosting a bunch of seances, but hipster seances.
Okay. Yeah, you feeling like you need a little more excitement in your life?
I think you can generate excitement by pretending you have spiritual powers and then just rolling with it and then pretending so hard you go with it. Like maybe just becoming a ghost hunter, but a legit ghost hunter, Yeah. I get certified. I was watching Ghostbusters. I put on Ghostbusters the other day, and for some reason, can you get a PhD in parapsychology at a major university? Is that a thing that actually happens? I mean, a lot of the things in that movie are questionable.
I don't know. I don't think so.
But the joke that I found myself laughing at that I never noticed as a kid was the reason why they can afford the fire station building is because Ray mortgages his house at 19%, which I was... At 19%, you didn't even bargain with the guy, and I was in stitches at that line. I had never noticed how high of an interest rate that is.
Yeah, you don't. The interest rate jokes kind of pass over your head as a kid.
Yeah. But that's Ghostbusters. Did you ever have Ghostbusters action figures as a kid, or knew people that had Ghostbusters?
No, I just exclusively had the gayest Batman and Robin from George Clooney Batman and Robin action figures.
Bat nipples.
That's all I had.
The Joel Schumachers. Those movies are great.
Yeah, I was thinking
very
they should
homosexual.
Call him, he should change his name to J.R.R. Schumacher.
Why should he change his name to J.R.R.?
To be like Tolkien and the Game of Thrones guy.
Sure, you're right. I guess George R.R. Martin did do the RRs as an homage to J.R.R. Tolkien.
It's unclear, but it's come on, dude. Yeah. I think it was on Trillbillies. They said they deduced the reason. maybe that's not a deduction. Maybe it's more of an induction for why Clooney's nipples were hard in that movie. And the answer is because of Mr. Freeze. It's cold in there.
You're right. It's a cold movie.
It's cold.
Yeah. Frickin', moving. My moving story. The only thing? My moving story is like maybe moving my dad into his divorce apartment, which was underneath my aunt's, which was in my aunt's basement, which was that was just a harrowing experience of taking his meager amount of stuff. I was 12.
Nice. We were moving with our dads, our single dads, both
single
at roughly
dads.
the same time.
Yeah, and he just wasn't working. He was too depressed to work.
Nice, same.
And so he was relying on the help of his sister at the time, and taking care of her newborn daughter, who is now old. His time.
She's like what, 8? She's like 18 or 20 now. That's not old.
She's 20 now. Yeah, but it's the passage of time, because I was young then, and now they're an adult, and I feel old. They don't know 9/11. Yeah, my cousin.
And her name is 9/11.
Her name is 9/11. She was named for the event.
It's like in Stranger Things, like, hi, my name is 9/11, and I can do psychic powers.
Yeah, but only flying planes into towers.
I have telekinesis of the airplane.
Yeah, I have aerokinesis. So I can only psychically push airplanes into big towers.
Yeah, what a great horror movie that would be. There's no. It would piss off the 9/11 conspiracy people so much to make a horror movie about the little girl makes the 9/11 planes go into the building, and she's who's responsible.
You just made me think of an idea of like a bunch of American terrorists trying to fly a plane into the Burj Khalifa. That's my.
I don't know what is that?
That's the tallest building in the world and in the United Arab Emirates.
Oh hell yeah, we're gonna do it. Hell yeah, let's roll. They would all say let's roll.
Yeah.
And there's Arabic people being like, oh, did they just say let's roll? Like, what do we do? Unroll.
They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to deal with it. They've never met a force like the American terror squad.
If Gore had been president, he probably would have suggested that. It's like, we're not gonna retaliate. Instead, I suggest Americans go over there and fly planes into their buildings.
That's just what he would have suggested. That is the type of logical deduction that old Mr. Al Gore would have suggested.
So we strayed a little too far from a pretty good story. So how did the move go with your dad?
Oh, nothing. It's just like the move was less eventful than the fact that it was just a very tiny basement with low ceilings. That its only cooking device was a hot plate, and the options were to either sleep on my floor or in the same bed as my dad when I went over there.
And you chose.
So, I chose floor. So I could jerk off. And also, you don't want to sleep in the same bed as your dad.
Yeah, what if you have a wet dream?
Yeah, that's gross. That never happened to me. I think those are myths.
No, it happened to me, but late in life, if you can believe it, when I was probably like 22 or 23. And it was when I was sleeping on a floor.
Interesting. What about the floor?
I don't know. It was so weird. But I had.
What was your experience?
Because I was like you by 23 or 24. I was like, okay, wet dreams don't exist. Yeah. And I go to visit Amsterdam. I was staying in. Remember George?
Yeah, I remember George. I love George.
I got to Amsterdam before I could check into my hotel. I had to stay one night on George's floor. Mm-hmm. I had my first and only wet dream there.
Maybe I've never had a wet dream because basically every night before I go to sleep, I jerk off in order to sleep.
Yeah.
Which is like, so I'm protecting myself against that inevitability by preempting it.
I do it to wake up, which is interesting.
That is interesting because
I
don't
get the fiery burning
afterwards.
Do you get the fiery burning?
You get the fiery burning?
Yeah, it wakes me right up.
You get the fiery burning in your pee hole of your battery acid like semen scarring your urethral innards.
That's right.
Yeah. Woo! Woo! It's like rubbing a bunch. It's like sounding with cayenne. Woo! It wakes you up in the morning. That'll put hair on your chest. That'll put arms in your coffee. That'll put fudge in your dungeon.
Yeah, put the fudge in the dungeon.
Putting the fudge in the dungeon.
And put the lemon on the coconut.
Yeah, but I love Harry Nilsson. Harry Nilsson is the best.
Well, moving was the only topic we had today, so
yeah, it was moving. We're all out of juice.
Let me think of another time I moved. I remember, like, I think it was the end of freshman year. I moved out of my dorm into an apartment, and then I helped like 2 other people move the same day. Mm-hmm. That was a good day because moving into your first apartment, being like, wow, think about all the beer I can drink in this apartment.
And you fulfilled that wish.
Yeah, I remember that apartment, a basement apartment, was the first place I got blackout drunk, and I turned up all the heat when I was blackout drunk. I turned it up as high as it could go, and I woke up, and I had gotten these two. There's like basically 2 chairs that formed a sofa if you pushed them together. I passed out on that, and I had to throw them away because they were wet with sweat and pee, completely soaked. They were soggy. They were soggy with sweat and pee.
Oh, the warmth of the room made you pee yourself as well.
Yeah. I later realized I was probably having like some kind of weird emotional reaction of having heard about someone having died. Remember that girl who was swept away in a riptide?
Yeah, it's one of the most horrible ways to die.
That's when I got blackout drunk the first time. I didn't have any kind of emotional reaction other than like, well, I guess I'm going to drink as many beers as I can. Mm-hmm. See what happens to me then.
Oh yeah, let's do an experiment here. We're testing the old limits.
So that was probably, later I'm like, I was probably having some kind of buried reaction to death of a peer that I knew fairly well. But, I'm fine now. Got no problems now.
That's like death of a friend is an important one, because it's the one which really introduces you to your own mortality. The one which is like I've seen it go for like older people, and it's sort of supposed to happen that way. But when it's someone your age and it's someone there's that real relation of self to that person. I find, whenever people my age who I've known have passed away. I don't know. Moving. I remember moving in and out of the place that we lived in
Mill
Red
Road.
Hook, New York, and Mill Road. Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember. No, I don't really have any moving experience. I'm good at moving. I don't have any negative experiences.
Did you move into Mill Road before or after me? I don't remember.
I think I moved in before you because I was going there when I was excommunicated from campus for my pot dealing.
I don't remember. I actually do not know. I don't remember the timeline of... Because when I met you, you were living in that other place. You had was it Alon's place?
Yes, it was that. Yes, that was like talk about because the person who was supposed to live in that place was a friend who died. Wow. And so that memory is sort of colors moving out of that place and moving into this place where Max and two women whose name I forget lived. But all I remember from their time at that house was the fact that they had a newborn kitten that instantly got run over.
Wasn't it Miriam and I don't know.
No, it wasn't it wasn't
Hannah?
those two. It was I don't know. Some very Manhattan-y women who would show up in the television series You on Netflix.
Haven't seen it. I can't remember who moved into Mill Road first. I started going there because my dad basically kicked me out of his place for drinking. Mm-hmm. And I was having too good of a time drinking. And so I weaseled my way into Mill Road and stayed there for quite some time until I became the de facto rent payer. And then I became the guy that the landlord would interact with.
Yeah, he was that strange Israeli jewelry making guy.
I thought he was Italian. I don't know I thought he was involved with some shady business.
Okay. Well, he let us trash his big nice house, so.
Yep, but we always paid the rent on time.
I guess that's what matters. Yeah, it wasn't that difficult to clean up.
We didn't actually, but because you left before we actually all moved out, I oversaw the entire operation of moving out. Dano and I took, I think it was about 2 truckloads of garbage to the dump.
It just accumulated detritus.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably like $200 worth of stuff that we had to we had to pay $200 to get rid of it. It was worth more than $200. A lot of stuff.
Tables, chairs, televisions.
No real TVs. We didn't get rid of TVs, but a lot of people went through that house. I wonder if
right at the end, I can tell how it ended because there was eventually that guy Paul who would just say, "That's so funny," instead of laughing. Yeah, and he was a weird guy. I didn't like him.
I mean, yeah,
but that was the death knell of that house.
Were you
Paul.
there when he was there? I don't think you were.
No, I was in New York at that time.
Well, this has been probably just fascinating for our listeners to listen to.
Well, people want insights into our personal lives. After all, that's why you listen, because there's a personal touch. But I like guys like that. I like people that don't actually laugh, but say, "That's so funny. Oh my God."
Yeah, I'm afraid he might listen to the show, but he probably won't.
He probably won't. But, I mean, he's fine. I'm sure he's a fine guy. He was just like an exceptionally thick guy. It looked like he was like a golem made of dough that was brought to life.
Holy shit. I feel bad because I was mean to him, for a while. Because he was very tough to live with.
Yeah. It's fine to be mean to roommates. I mean, sometimes your relationships with roommates deteriorate for one reason or another.
The problem is that he just always wanted to hang out and be part of our, the friend group there. And he just wasn't a good fit. And he's a kind of guy who shouldn't have gone to Bard. He went to Bard because his dad worked there and he could get a great discount. So he's the kind of guy who should have gone to UVM, a school with guys who love skiing.
Yeah.
Instead of a school for guys with long hair who love crying.
Who love the Jesus and Mary chain. Yeah.
Like guys who love to sit on a couch on ketamine.
Yeah. that's the top activity, When we were there, it was the height of the hipster culture, which doesn't really exist now, or has become so ingrained in mainstream society that people don't even notice it existing.
Right.
I see a lot of these Zoomers with, the fancy glasses and the mustaches, and people aren't like, "Oh, that's a hipster guy." People are just like, "Oh, that's just a guy." That's no longer a cultural signifier. Because I guess, any sort of cachet or niche interest that the hipster culture had eventually became bought out, symbolically with Vice getting bought out by Fox and then destroying one of the most popular indie music venues in Brooklyn in order to do it. Death by Audio.
Yeah, well, music is dead.
No, there's no. Everybody loves a boozy badass and NBA young boy, and I don't know. These are probably old rappers by now. There's probably some new SoundCloud rapper called Lil Zerp.
Is SoundCloud thing. Is SoundCloud even a viable career path for young rappers, or is it still viable?
I think it's still one of the biggest ways of promoting yourself. I think SoundCloud hip hop is still very, very much a thing.
I don't know. I feel like Spotify and the other streaming sites, they've made it easier to get on, I think.
Yeah, but I think SoundCloud still has that sort of, there's that homemade quality that stuff on SoundCloud has. There's that DIY quality, which I think figures into a lot of what makes current hip hop have a sense of authenticity. I don't know what I'm saying. I have no idea I don't listen to anything
I don't
past
think we know.
2015.
I would love to talk to like a really hip and with it 20-year-old and just be like, can you tell me what are
these terms?
Yeah, tell me what's cool. I want to know what's cool these days.
I feel like there are people our age who are dialed into that culture, and to them I say, bravo, because I'm just tired all the time, and I just want to listen to my old stories.
I got an album rec to end the show. I listened to it today. I listened to an album called Cerulean by a band called The Ocean Blue, and I have to tell you, I found it delightful.
What's it sound like? What's its genre?
It's like a nice cross between 80s art pop and 90s indie.
Like a Talk record or something.
Yeah, a little less gloomy.
All right.
Yeah, Talk's a little gloomy.
A little
Ocean
too gloomy
Blue
for
not.
You. All right. Where are they from? Are they recent? Are they modern?
No, this was from 1991, so I don't know where they're from. They sounded maybe not American, but I don't know.
Who knows? Well, we've been talking about moving, and so now we're ending with Billy Joel's Movin' Out. I don't know how the song goes. I'm moving out. I'm moving my stuff out. Put it in boxes, the candelabras. I'm moving like a turtle outside of my house. Moving out. Yes, we're moving out, baby. This is Billy Joel's Moving Out. Yeah, we're getting all your stuff and we're locking all your stuff upside of your storage unit.
There's a lyric. I looked up the lyrics. There's a lyric for Moving Out that's, you should never argue with a crazy man. It's, I guess, is the same heart attack thing that he does.
Heart attack,
That's just one thing.
He likes that.
Well,
we're done.
Happy American Thanksgiving. See you next week, folks.
Bye, y'all.